What's up, everybody? So it's January 19th, man. I haven't had a job since Thanksgiving. I woke up this morning to my girlfriend saying that the landlord texted her. The landlords are, it's a couple. They're married, and the lady texted her saying that we're still $200 short from late fees because we paid 7 days late. My girl was like, hey, I gave y'all my whole check, and my boyfriend, he just buried his mom, and so we didn't have the money, so y'all are gonna have to wait. And she was saying how, like, she was kind of upset because, like, this whole time, we're halfway through the lease, the contract, and they've never hit us up to see how we're doing or anything like that. The only time I was going to contact them and say, hey, just checking in, seeing how everything's going. But when I called, the landlord never answers. He never answers, or else he would have known that, like there was all these logs, all this wood that fell over on the neighbor's business, and they came over here a couple times saying, oh, can you get the landlord to get rid of this stuff? It's like, okay. I got rid of it myself. I cut wood for weeks. You know what I'm saying? Took care of all this stuff. And if the landlord had answered my phone call, he would have known, like, hey, your neighbor's having an issue, but I'm going to take care of it for you. I'm going to do this work. You know? But anyway, that's one thing because they're not really in contact or anything. And frankly, I'm not too worried about it because the landlord told me when we were over here and I did land work with him, or at least I cut the grass. You know what I'm saying? He cut the grass on his sit-down lawnmower. I weed eated. You know what I'm saying? And we were talking. He was like, "Oh, we've had trouble trying to rent this place out." It's like, okay, it's gone so long without getting rented out. So I'm not too worried about us being late and shit like that. Although it's a worry, it's bothersome to me because I'm not contributing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, my girl was so down and depressed, or at least just sad, really down and out, because she had to pay the whole rent herself. You know? Now, luckily I followed through. On Friday, I went to, I believe it was Friday, and my girl rode with me. We went down to, it might have been Thursday. We went down to a park that's on the west side. And at first we were kind of like, I don't know about this. Even though me not having a car, it would have took me an hour to get down there on the bus. I don't really mind, because I'm willing to take up to 2 hours of a bus, whatever. And, but we're like, I don't know about this. But thankfully we followed through, and it's like, the park's nice, but I don't even think I'm going to be working on that park because they have like 2 other parks, 3 total, that they're going to be working at. Anyway, the job is just walking the park, scaring off birds. There's like 6 species that they don't want to nest there because if they poop, if they defecate, then they have to shut down the park. So that's our job. And honestly, that's like my type of thing because I'm just the type of person that likes to walk. So it's like, I go to walks, I go to walk at parks when I'm not door dashing. So it's like, it's kind of the perfect job for me, at least for now. Yeah, it's, $13 an hour, low, but hey, it's doing something, right? And it's outside. I think my mama told me years ago that I should probably be like a park ranger or something like that that's involved with outside activities. Anyway, so I do have a job starting on February 1st, but then it's like, that's when rent's due, so I got to do something, DoorDash or what, but I think I just got to start working, man, and just get the routine and the schedule because I'm over here planning on, door dashing while my girl's at work, and it's like, I kind of try to feel it out and sense it out. And this morning she didn't like, because usually she'll ask if I want to borrow the car, but she was like, okay, I'm leaving, goodbye. And that's the other thing, bro. It's like the position I'm in, bro. I don't have a car. I don't have a job. Everything. And a few weeks before my mom's passing, I was saying, like, this isn't my house. Like, I just kept having these thoughts, like, this is not my house. This isn't my house. My name's on the lease. But even if I was paying rent, would I have the house fucking look like this? You know what I'm saying? Would I have flowers everywhere and all this bullshit? It wouldn't be this way. And events leading up to this, I'm not in charge of the relationship. And last time I saw my good friends before my mother's passing, I told the one that I look up to, which was a Marine sergeant, I believe, before he got out of the service. And that really had me think too, man. The last couple of days, I was like, you know what? I feel a different connection with all my friends in particular ways. Like my good friend Roger, we work out at the gym. My good friend Daniel, he's my best friend. I've known him since middle school. I wouldn't know any of the guys if it wasn't for Daniel. And he's probably the only one that really understands me. I miss the boys, man. It's Sunday, and I don't have a car, but I should probably, if I was a man, I'd fucking go down there, B. I would take the bus, because I think I even have, like, some money on my bus account to take a bus over there. But whatever. That would be nice on a Sunday to go see the boys or see my dad or something. Get the fuck out of this house. What, you're going to be here for like 9 hours by yourself? Although I plan on doing 1,000 squats today, I could necessarily do that in an hour and a half. But I was considering splitting it up, and being productive between those hours, and I would finish around 7 p.m. I used AI to say, create a schedule for me, because it takes me 10 minutes to do 100 reps, and I'll do 10 reps per minute. So in 10 minutes I can do it, and I was like, okay, every hour on the hour, I'll just do 10 minutes, and that's 100. And so in 10 hours, I'll have 1,000. And in between, I'll just do housework, like clean the house and maybe put in more applications or do some yard work or some shit. But it's like, it's 10 a.m. right now. It's 10:01. I could fucking, knock out the squats by noon, do the housework, which will take 20 minutes top of clear focus, and then get the hell out of here by 1 or 2. But it depends, man. I'm trying to feel it how it goes. But this is the life of me, right? The only thing I care about is my fucking reps, my workout. Like, oh, you want to do 1,000 reps and you want to go walk 5 miles. Like, what the fuck? And the whole objective of walking was, okay, I'm a detox. I'm not going to smoke for the next 5 days. Because the job I'm starting, I'm sure they don't drug test. And I haven't smoked any real green since October. But we've been smoking this like THCA, THCP, which apparently THCP stays in your system longer. And I've only smoked that like one time. So it's usually been THCA. But still, I'm thinking, I know it turns to THC when you ignite it with the lighter. And I'm thinking that I want to detox from that. Even though it's at a smoke shop and it's totally legal, it could still come up on a test, I believe. So I'm like, I'd like to take this week, it being Sunday, go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then by Friday, if I have to take any type of test, I'll be clear. I know it takes longer. And I don't know, because recently I've been discouraged. Maybe I wasn't taking it appropriately. But there's been days like 5 years ago when I stayed in Conroe And my friend from Houston, he's even told me, you know, last year when I was complaining, like, oh, I can't get a job that I want because I can't pass a drug test. He's like, I've seen you smoke real weed, and then 3 days later, you fucking pass the drug test. I've been known to do it. I've done it myself. One of the good jobs that I got, which was a welder's assistant, actually was the best job that I had because it was the most money that I've made in 1 month. The most amount of savings that I've ever had in my pocket was with that job, which was like a little over $2,000. That's the most I've ever had in savings while also being caught up on bills and paying rent and shit like that. Was being a welder's assistant. And I absolutely loved that job. I literally walked around and I was smiling. I was like, oh my God. Like, I know I look crazy right now, but I'm so fucking happy to be in this job because I feel like a man. Walk around in this warehouse. I got these steel boots that go up to the fucking, to your shin and shit. Like, I was like, fucking love this shit. Anyway, and that's where I made the most money. But every time I got something good going for me, even the last time when I met this girl, I had 2 jobs, I had a car paid cash, like I had a roommate with my boys. They all were asking me to go to the gym every motherfucking day. And I get distracted with a female, start spending all my time with them. That's where I fucked up, is moving in to this girl's world. She was renting out a room with her coworker. And they asked me like, Josh, will you please come live with us? I didn't fucking want to. Although, of course, I was tempted because I'm a guy. What the fuck? Oh, come live with these 2 females? Sure. Fuck that. Fuck that, dude. That's where I fucked up. Then I tried to leave the apartment and I knew, turn off your fucking phone, dude. But I left it on and I decided to, I just sleep in. Oh, well, the girls are coming back from work in like the next 10 minutes. I gotta go. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I pack up all my shit and I leave. But it's like, why didn't you wake up early as shit? You just lollygagged and woke up late as shit and be like, oh shit, they're on their way. I'm gonna leave now. And then when you do leave, you leave your phone on. So the girls get there when you're driving and you were asleep this whole time, so you didn't know that it was raining or even just a little bit of rain, so the roads were sleek. And I'm driving faster, not knowing that it just rained. And my girl's texting me like, where are you? All this shit. Like, oh my God, where's all your stuff? And then I'm just driving emotionally, even thinking about something that my good friend Roger told me weeks prior because he had to take like a driver's test or something. And he was like, you know, one of the rules is that don't get emotionally triggered. Like don't get too happy, don't get too sad to where you drive erratically. And I was even thinking about that, bro. But I don't know, my emotions took over or what, and I'm speeding. And then also I remember I'm looking at the fucking text to see what she's saying. Even though I kind of subconsciously told myself, like, turn your music off, turn your sound off so you're not notified of this shit. Or at the very least, turn your phone fucking off. I'm like, oh, I want to listen to my music. Fucking went too fast, tried to slam on the brakes, slick road. I'm fucking sliding down, hit the curb, fuck up my wheel. I called my dad. He had AAA. He helped me tow it. My boys told me they would help me fix it, especially being who they were. Like one of them was a Marine, a mechanic in the Marines, and the other one was just very obvious, the one that I look up to, the sergeant. And he told me, he was like, look, this is what it is, we can fix it. I didn't fix it, man. I took it to a car shop, had them verify that that was the issue. I was like, okay, I had my last $100. And I said, okay, you have to pay to get this car towed back to the house so you can work on it. At least have it at the house so you can work on it. And you know you can ask your mama to borrow money to fix it. And I'm pretty sure all the times that she gave me money in the beginning was me telling her, oh, I have to repair my car. Can I have $300? And she sent it. So if I was truly about it, I would have got it done. But it was something that I had that self-doubt or what? Or undeserving or self-deprivation. Like, oh, I can't do it. I don't know if I can do it. And it's funny, I was looking at pictures from when I first came back to San Antonio around 2019. And I was on this online whatever chat room, and there was this girl, and she said, oh, I'm having trouble with my truck. I think it's the alternator. And I'm looking it up. I'm looking at all the shit that got to get done. And I'm like, you know what? It looks like it's a little difficult, but I think I could do it. If anything, just go take a look at it. She even ordered me tacos and said, hey, what kind of tacos do you want? You know? And I did not go through because I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I enjoy working on cars. My very first car was an issue with the hubcap, and it was a huge job. And I worked it until I couldn't work it anymore. And then I went to that same car shop that I left my SUV at, my last car. Because what? I didn't tow it back to the house. I just fucking left it there. And they called me multiple times. They had no choice but to get it towed away. Who does that? Who has a vehicle and just lets it fucking stay and get towed away? You know they're gonna tow it away. And you just let the shit go. Who does that? Who does that? And my first car, I had like a similar issue with the hubcap, with the wheel, you know what I'm saying? And it needed a new metal piece. I did all this work. The neighbors even talked to my sister and my dad saying, wow, like, you know, he's really into it. They commemorated, you know, they were giving like respect, saying, wow, like, you know, he was out there from the morning all day till the sun went down. And then within the next 2 to 3 days, by day 2, day 3, I had that motherfucker running again. To a point where the neighbors were like, whoa. And the neighbor across the street was like, hey, would you check out my car? And I always felt like a piece of shit because I was like, yeah. And then I just never fucking did it. You know, my dad's car, the Mercedes that he still drives to this day, was sitting at his house for months on end. When I was in Houston, when I came back here the first time, he said he had about 4 or 5 mobile mechanics come check out his car. They couldn't figure out what the fuck it was. I was able to figure out what the hell it was. And at least get that motherfucker running momentarily. I have the capability. I have the capability to at least diagnose a vehicle. And then, okay, if I don't have the tools, get someone professional to take care of it, right? But with my first car, I did the most I could do. I did everything I did. I even took the whole damn axle out, the whole hubcap out that carries the wheel, everything. I replaced the fucking metal hub, I believe it goes, that goes in the carrier. I was able to get it out by renting a tool at AutoZone. But then I was like, I don't have the pressure to compact it back in. So I went to the Pep Boys, the same place that towed my last vehicle. My first vehicle, I got my dad to take me on the way to his work. Back when my sister still lived down here, and she worked with him at his office. And they dropped me off. I was like, all y'all gotta do is drop me off on the way to the damn school. And they did. They dropped me off here, and I had the fucking whole hubcap. And I said, hey, y'all think that y'all could just use a compressor and push this metal, you know, hub into the carrier? And they were like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll let you know. So I walked home, which is what? 3 mile, 4 mile walk, 5 miles, something. I walk home, wait for them to call me. That afternoon, they call me. I get down there. My dad's still at work. And I take that motherfucking hub. It's a heavy motherfucker, right? And I walk that shit. I hold it in my hand. Heavy as shit. And I walk those miles back to my house. I'm even thinking like, I bet I look ridiculous as shit walking with this fucking, you know, whole hub in my hand. But I got it. And I was still happy in that moment because I was like, I fucking got, they did it. All I have to do is put this back on my car and I'm good. And that was my first car. Ford Contour. It's a German variety. They made it for a few years. I love that motherfucker. It was an SVT manual. So my first car, I had to learn how to drive stick shift. It was cool, man. But just the fact that it was the hub and such a big project, I worked it to the extent of all I could do. It's out of my hands. Got somebody else to finish the project for me so that I could put it all back together. Learning lessons. That Mercedes deal with my dad was a learning lesson because of the airflow. It was just it didn't run because of the sensor, the air sensor, the airflow mass sensor. Because I read somewhere, just take it off the cable, see if it runs without it. Of course, you have more work to do, or maybe you have to replace the sensor. I think we did replace the sensor, and it was fine. You know, but that self-doubt, bro. To the extent where my last car, I just let it go. I even had the money to tow it. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to spend the last of my money on a tow. Like, what the fuck? And that was 5 years ago. 2019, 2020, around 2020 maybe. 2020, I believe it was, because I first came back to San Antonio around 2019. Because I tell you, that would have been the moment. If I had towed that car back to my friend's house, which I was still living in, I would have repaired it, kept my 2 jobs instead of losing the one, because I can't drive to the south side. And I would have stayed in that house while fixing the car at least, so I'm not spending so much damn time at these girls' house to the point where my friend, the sergeant, is saying like, hey man, like, are you coming back? You haven't been back to the fucking house. You know? And I even knew because the guy's room that I took in that house was Daniel's oldest brother, Bernie. And he went to the army at the age of 27, which is interesting. And he showed me a comedian, T.K. Kirkland, who said, he was just saying some real profound shit. You know, hey, never move into a woman's situation. You can't start dating unless you have $25,000 in the bank. You can't even think about marriage until you have $75,000 in the bank. It was funny, but it's real as shit. And he even said, you do not move into a woman's house. You have her move into your house. So I've pretty much practically known the truth this whole time, you know. And frankly, like, not to be an asshole, like, the girl is a good girl. She has great characteristics, very loyal, but it's like, it's not really the type of girl that I see myself being with in the end. I know that's fucked up. I'm using her shit, bro. I'm living in her house, using her computer. She's buying me food. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never felt that pressure. And that's what I was thinking the last couple of days is like, you know, I've never truly had to fend for myself. I always had that backup plan where I could stay with my dad, go to Houston, stay with my mom. Other than that, had females take care of me. What? I lived with some females then. I live with my girl now. She pays all the bills. She pays for all the groceries. I don't pay for shit. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had to literally sleep out in the cold. The only time I had to sleep in my car was with my first car before I went to fucking Houston. Anyway, yesterday I went to McAllister Park. There's a water dam that me and my friend would call the pyramids. After I first came back to San Antonio and I was living in my friend's house, and really based off of the sergeant's suggestion, because before he got out of the service, he came to visit his family. And I told him, I'm thinking about going into mechanics. I really enjoy it. And he said, what would be better? More qualifications and stuff and more money would be airplane mechanics. Based off of his suggestion, I looked into Hallmark College. When I was at Hallmark College in the waiting lobby, I saw a statue of an eagle and it had a Bible verse in it that said he will give you the strength on eagle's wings or whatever it was. I was like, that's motivational. And the fact that they're Christian, I was like, I feel really good about this. They even gave me a coin that said it's time for change. There was even a boy there who worked at Olive Garden who, by the way, I was supposed to start working at that Olive Garden. They even gave me a job at the same Olive Garden that this kid was working at. And when everyone was introducing themselves and he said he worked at Olive Garden, I was like, oh shit. It's kind of what I knew kind of like, okay, this is kind of meant to be, Then the math came. I didn't take it serious. And during that time, I told myself, like, bro, when school's over, you have 2 hours of opportunity to go to the tutoring area. You should spend the rest of your time tutoring. I left trying to chill with a girl or whatever the fuck. Bullshitting. I needed to get on that math. Instead, I looked at it, got overwhelmed, and said, oh my God, I can't do this. And I quit before I even started. So I quit the college. The girl I was dating at the time broke up with me. I was lost. But I just got a job at Toyota. And still, regardless, the whole time, had opportunity to clean buildings. So I got a building for myself. And I was able to work 2 jobs. So when I'm meeting the girl that I know now, of course I'm all in my head. Whatever. I'm alone. So I try to talk to women online, find this girl. And she was down to chill, so we chilled and just started hanging out like I usually do. Like the last time I was on a good run was when I first moved to Houston, or Conroe. First moved to Conroe, due to my mom's encouragement, I went to school for a car mechanic certificate, whatever. And even during that time, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. But every time I'm always wondering if, oh, is this right? Should I be doing this? It always turns out later that that was like the exact thing for me to do. First time in Conroe, when I was going to the college in the morning, then going straight from there to work at Whataburger, I felt the most alive. I know it was bottom tier, but still working at something. Then I quit school then because I started talking to a female, got distracted, started staying out too late. So I started showing up late. It's always absences that gets me in trouble. Whether it was high school, they damn near kicked me out when I turned 18 because I was absent so much or late so much. With all my jobs, it's always because I'm late so much. Even when I went to that college, I was showing up late. Yeah, that's how I stopped going to the damn school. You know, and the last time here was when I first came here and I went to the college and I even had a job working in the restaurant. But I remember I was just so nervous. I talked to my mom like, "Oh, I have to go straight from school to work as a dishwasher, and I'm gonna get out late." And she was like, "Oh, I don't know about all that." But it turned out it would have been perfect because they saw my potential and they were like, "Oh, you need to be a cook, which means you'll get out earlier, which means I would have been able to go home in time to go to sleep and wake up and go to school." But also during that time, I'm all about burpees, but I had no discipline because I'm trying to do 100 burpees, but you're waking up fucking late. So I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't want to go to school without doing my burpees." So you do your burpees instead of going to school, and then you're fucking late for school, or you just don't go at all. And that was my shit, man. That was my shit. You know, and you can still get the sense of that even today. Like, I hate working out in front of my girl or act like while my girl's home and she knows I'm working out. Like, I don't even want her to fucking hear me or see me or shit. But like last night even, she's laying down in the living room. I'm in the bedroom fucking doing 700 fucking push-ups to do 1,000 total that day. And it's like that. I was even thinking then, like, this is cool, bro. And regardless, I'm going to finish because I need to. I'm not going to stop. But I don't like the fact that she knows I'm fucking working out right now, right? Because a real one would wake up at 4:30, knock that shit out first, and then still go to work, get the fuck out of the house, or do something. You know? I just want to put in a good day's work. I got that from Capital Gains, from Chip Gaines, from the Magnolia House in Waco, Texas, from that show where they renovate the Fixer Upper. Because he always said that. He's like, "I don't care if I'm digging a hole or putting up a fence." He's like, "If I can finish my day and say, and feel good because I put in a good day's work, so be it." And that's how I'm thinking. Like, I just want to put in a good day's work, bro. Like, I'm tired of just sitting the fuck at home all the time. And there's really nothing stopping me, G, except for my own fucking self-doubt saying, "Ooh, I can't get the job I want because I keep smoking all the time." So what? Go work at fucking Burger King, dude. If you don't want to stop smoking or just stop long enough to pass a test, like, that's on you, bro. That doesn't mean you stop working. Go work landscaping. Well, they probably drug test too, but I'm like, go work at the corner store. Go work at Burger King, McDonald's, some fucking where. Go work for Joe, some motherfucker that's on the corner. You got a gas station right here. Your homeboy already told you, you know, you're probably missing a lot of encounters by just going there, watching the flow. Maybe you see somebody coming by and say, "Hey, you got a job? You got something you need done?" You know? And I think a part of it is because of the self-loathing or the self-negativity. I know in Conroe I started a very negative self-talk to where I was just saying, "I hate myself, I hate myself." When I was going to college for the mechanics and working at Whataburger down there, I met a girl. Now, she had a kid. She didn't speak English, but she was beautiful. And when I was working the line and I saw her, I stopped working. And then the OG lady, OG, she's standing next to me. She's looking at me. She's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm going to marry that girl." I just fucking said it, bro. And it's like, yeah, she didn't know English, whatever. I've been telling myself for years I want to learn Spanish. And regardless, maybe she needed to learn English. Either way, she was a good woman. The whole time she was telling me she didn't like when I would drink alcohol. She didn't like when I would smoke weed. And she would smell it on me. And she would like, "Joshua," she didn't like it. So instead, I met a girl in Humble, Texas, more near Houston, about a 45-minute drive from where I was, and I would drive that shit every motherfucking day. Picture that. I still have no job. And even when I did, which was the welding assistant, which I made the most money, I still got distracted because during that timeline, it was COVID. We were essential workers, so I was able to keep my job, good job, and they just shut down cruises. I was always fearful of planes, and when it was my dad's 75th birthday and they wanted to take him on a cruise, I was like, a boat in the middle of nowhere? I don't want to do that shit. To the point where I was anxious, to the point where I sat down with my dad and said, please don't make me do this. I don't want to go. And he, whatever, was upset. He wanted me to go. He thought I was like hating on him or whatever. I don't know. So I was like, I'll go. But due to that experience, I was like, cruises are the shit. So when they shut down the cruise line during that COVID, I'm thinking this shit is bomb. I know humans are going to like it eventually. Whenever this clears up, give it 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I looked at the stock market, at the prices on Cash App, and I saw how it went down due to the news. They're shutting down. I was like, this is cheap as shit. I said, if you save $2,000 and you buy this stock, in 2 or 3 years, when it goes back to, after all this shit clears up, because people love the cruise. Due to my experience, I was like, oh, people like this, they're going to get back to this eventually. I said, if you invest $2,000 into this, in 2 years or however long it takes, when it gets back to regular and it's back to where it was, you're going to make $100,000 profit. And that's the only time that I've made the most amount of money and saved it. And, along with paying my bills and everything and still having extra money on top of that, I had $2,000. But I wasn't talking to that Mexican girl anymore with the kid. I was talking to a whole nother girl who was down with me drinking and driving, who was down with me smoking. And frankly, I wasn't even attracted to like that. Oh my goodness. And that's what's sad, bro. It's like, why, bro? Why? Why? Because she would let you smoke? Because she would let you drink? Or what? What? And I've never been social, but it's like, if I had just gotten a regular job, I would have met more people. I would have, had more experiences. Yeah, I worked in a warehouse with a bunch of dudes, but I could have got a second job that I've always wanted. I could have gone to school. I could have done something. Instead, I just meet a girl on the internet, get in a relationship with her. It's like those fucking sites aren't even for relationships, bro. They're for women to just hook up. And that's what my homeboy from H-Town told me too. Thinking of him, I'm going to hit him up. The girl that stays here doesn't like him because he puts thoughts in my head. And so what? He's a felon and he's not in a good place himself. He's still sleeping in a car, sleeping in motels. So what? For some reason, I still want to be his friend. I've been friends with him for 8 years since I stayed in fucking Conroe. I met him at that Whataburger job. And yeah, he might get me into trouble sometimes, some shenanigans, but what the fuck else am I gonna do? Even down there, when I quit all my jobs in fucking Conroe, all I would do is just sit the fuck around. Every time he would hit me up, I get the fuck out of the house. I'm living life. I'm driving around. I'm going to stores. I'm interacting with humans. At least I was out and about and living life. Otherwise, I'd just be reclusive, cooped up in the fucking house, staying inside all the time. And that's why, I've learned a lot through him. I've learned how to drive way better because of him. I've learned a lot of life lessons through him. Anyway. just during that era when I stayed down there, and I'm seeing this girl that I met online, and he was telling me, he was like, bro, you are meeting up with these women, telling them that you love them, you want to marry them. He's like, if you tell a woman that, she's going to believe you, bro. And me always fantasizing, even when I was in school, like if I met a girl and she just smiled at me or looked at me a nice way, you know what I'm saying? I'm daydreaming like, oh my God, we'll get married and have kids. Like, crazy. And so I get so infatuated, I even trick myself. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna, I would love to be married and have a family and all this shit. And that would be nice, but I think it's a fantasy, and like all due respect, and this is why I gotta make a drastic move now, bro. Because it's disrespectful at this point to stay with this girl or at least not pay your fucking bills. If that's how you're going to be fine, but work hard, work your 40 hours minimum, which really you should be working 60 hours, 80 hours, and get you a car, get you your job so you're working 12 hours, 17 hours, at the very least 8 hours, something. Get the fuck out of the house and work your ass off and pay your rent and then get some savings so that you can make your next move. And if anything, just be respectful, honorable, and say, hey, look, I don't want to renew I don't want to renew the lease. I don't want to be with you. I'm out. Boom. At least finish the lease off. At least pay your bills for the rest. We're halfway through the lease. For the remainder of the lease, at least pay your half. Something. Or to hell with everything and say, fuck it, dip the fuck out. I think that would be the less honorable thing to do. But at the very least, get the fuck out of here, man. Something, bro, something. Rather than wallowing in your self-pity and just fucking sitting around and shit like I've been doing for years. But, my homeboy in Houston, he would tell me, he would say, you are getting with these girls who are literally supposed to be hit it and quit it. Like, you're not supposed to be chilling with these females or making a relationship with them. Like, and explicitly, especially because you're on these sites that are made for that shit. Like, these are not dating sites. All right? You're linking up with these females that you should just be hitting and quitting and moving on with your life, working on you, your career, your life. But you fall in love with these females. Or tell them that you love them and they fall in love with you and then you trick yourself and then you, or whatever. Ultimately, it's just lying. Because what? The nice guy is really just a jackass because he's a lying piece of shit. And my boy Dan told me when I first came back to San Antonio, he's like, just be honest. What? You just want to hook up with a female? Tell her. You don't want to be with her? Tell her. That's what always gets me fucked up. And I feel like a piece of shit because, like, fuck, bro. It's just lying. Because what? I don't want to be homeless or have to resort to go back to living with my dad, sleeping on his couch or some shit. Even when I stayed on my dad's couch 3 years ago, I wasn't going to work. I was just fucking sitting around all day. And my main thing was hitting my push-ups, a little burpee, and going for my walk, my hour and a half, 2-hour walk. And, like, that's my whole thing. Like, today, it's Sunday, but still, my whole thing is I just want to hit my squats. Try to hit 1,000 squats. I will hit 1,000 squats. And that's the difference, right? I can speak confidently and say, I'm going to hit this fucking number. Even if it's 11:30 at night, I will do it last minute, but I'll hit these motherfuckers. But you can't say the same about getting a car, keeping a job, making X amount of money, or doing something, venturing out, taking a trip. Go see your cousin in Alabama who's been asking to see you. Go join the army. Go get your CDL. Go do some shit, something. Right? And I feel that like on the front end, I've been consuming a lot of knowledge, if anything. But I just feel it so deeply that the time for consumption is over. No more time. No more. I got 3 years, bro, to make my plan into fruition. My plan. What I want to do. I got 3 years to hustle every single day. The past 3 years, let alone the past 6 years, I haven't kept a job. I haven't done. But I think subconsciously it's because what? I don't want to be in this fucking house. I don't want to be in a relationship with a female who runs every damn thing and her family is full of matriarchs and I want a patriarchy. I know that I don't want this lifestyle. And I don't know why I would get this self-deprivation that really started in Houston when I stopped talking to that Spanish-speaking mom because she didn't like me drinking alcohol or smoking. And good woman, but every time I've been at the top of my game mentally, or at least, clear thought mentally, even though it's hard, was when I've had two things going on at once. Especially when I go to school and then directly after I go straight to work. Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be a lot. What, for fucking 5 to 6 days out of the week? But back then I didn't even know that that's what I need. I was like, oh my God, it's so much work. And then complaining to my mom about it, and she's like, oh, that's tough. That's a lot. I don't know if you should do that. And then going based off of that, a woman, like no disrespect. But frankly, it would have all worked out. And looking back, not in the moment necessarily, but looking back, knowing it would have worked out. Why? Because I was a dishwasher getting out at midnight. What? Then I have to wake up and go be at school by 7 a.m. Cutting it close. But I still could have done it even with that. But then they want to make me a cook. So I would have got out at 10 p.m. So, hey, I would have got more hours to go to sleep. But even then, I'm showing up to school late because I'm not waking up early enough to do my workout. Which now saying, okay, if I'm not going to, I want to do a crazy amount of fucking working out, but it's like, you're not disciplined enough to wake up at 4 in the morning to get that shit done. You don't deserve to do this shit and then fuck up your responsibilities like school or work. You're not going to go because you want to fucking work out instead. That's what I did to this fucking car wash over here, working minimum wage, but hey, it would have been fucking something. I didn't even show up for my first fucking day. They gave me 2 shirts and shit. Because I was like, oh, I want to hit my fucking workout. Like, bro, you're supposed to be at work in 20 minutes. You're supposed to be walking to work right now. You're going to stay here and work out? Priorities, bro. It's not really a priority because if it was a priority, you'd fucking wake up early enough, do that shit early enough. You'd fucking get that shit out of the way if it really meant a lot to you. But it doesn't like you say it does. Or else you would do it first thing off the bat. Or you'd wake up earlier to do it. And then, even then, go to fucking school first. Go to work first and work out afterwards. If you actually don't have the motivation, will, or discipline to get up earlier and get that shit done before your responsibilities. And like I was telling myself yesterday when I'm driving around, it's like, bro, I always gave my dad shit because he's complaining about how he has to pay his employees. I'm like, that's a responsibility you asked for. But that goes for anything and everything in life. And not to point a finger at my dad, but to say, if you have a business, you're signing up for the responsibility of paying employees, paying 2 rents at the office and your own home. You asked for these responsibilities, so do not complain about it. A homeless man, he's asking for responsibilities of nothing. That's what he gets. You ask for the responsibility of a car. You have payments, gas, that's it. You did not ask to come into this world. It's true. But Unfortunately, it's an unfair world. You have to pay bills. You have to pay your dues. And even for your body, you have to pay your dues. You have to hit your cardio. You have to eat healthy. You have to work out, whatever it is. Lifting weights, push-ups, I don't give a fuck. You have to pay rent on your body, pay rent for your house, pay rent for your car. You have to pay your taxes. You just have to do it. Responsibility. All right? Nobody told you to go into business for yourself, but you are, so you have to pay your employees. Nobody told you to fucking get a car payment, but you did, so you have to do it. Nobody told you to fucking pay rent here, but you signed up for it, so you gotta do it. So what? You don't want responsibilities? Go be fucking homeless, dude. Go sleep under a fucking bridge like you see downtown. You don't want responsibility? Then fucking get what you ask for. But nah, you're a pussy. You're not man enough to fucking stand on your business. You don't want responsibilities? Oh, the world's so corrupt and you know all the fucking conspiracy theories and shit. You cannot be woke and broke. And nobody gives a fuck, frankly. You know, it's like, this girl knows I'm intelligent, I see all this shit, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, what the fuck does it matter? You think she cares and gives a fuck about what you say? You don't have your own house or own car. Who the fuck's gonna listen to you? You know, it's like when I first came to San Antonio, I was hanging out a lot at this park that I went to yesterday, McAllister Park. And I seen a homeless man. And we start chopping it up. I start talking to him. I don't know why. Just something told me to start talking to him. I seen him around. And he's telling me all this shit, and I'm like, all these conspiracy theories, all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty spot on. He's pretty into it. But I couldn't help but think, but he's homeless. So what can I really take from him? But I knew it was all for a reason. I even discussed this meeting with my father. Because I was like, I just thought that that's me, or it could be me, right? Like, you're so smart, you have all this intellect, but I couldn't. And I'm not even a judging person, right? But when I had met this homeless man, I couldn't help but think, but you're homeless. So how much information can I really take from you? So I'm sure that, like, that's what my friends or my girlfriend or her family thinks about me, is like, you're a nice guy, you have potential, you're very intellectual, but you don't have a car, you don't pay your bills, you're not responsible. Like, how can I listen to you, right? How can you be so intellectual but you know you're shit? You know. Sometimes you just got to get the fuck out of your own head and just fucking start working. So what? You got to do landscaping and shit like that. And I know I don't want to, like, work 60 years and retire, get a pension and get a nice house in a neighborhood and just sit around. That's fine. You know, but do the bare minimum, bro. You got to do the ordinary to be extraordinary and put the extra on top of it. I'm not even doing ordinary. Work a 9 to 5, pay your rent, get a car. That's ordinary. But I want to be extraordinary. If you really want to be extraordinary, you got to do extra. So you work the 9 to 5 plus your 5 to 9. The very ordinary, you pay your bills and shit. Okay, so what's extra on top of that? Live below your means, get us 3 sources of income, part-time, full-time, and your own business. But you're not even doing the ordinary, let alone doing the extra on top of it, right? Because all I care about is, like, my workouts. Push-ups, squats, burpees, going for walks. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares, bro. Numbers don't lie. Money talks and bullshit walks. 2025, bro. You've wasted 2 weeks and you have what, like 50 weeks left of the year? You gotta do something, Big Dougie. My girl expects me to get my CDL in April because I have an appointment with the DMV. She expects me to get my CDL and to drive for the next 5 years. And honestly, that's perfect. For me personally, I would drive for 3 years And I don't even know if I would include her in my plans. I mean, it would be nice. She's a great partner, you know. Frankly, I just always had a sense that maybe I'm supposed to be single, or at least for this time in my damn in my life, you know. Elliot Holt says that a man is on a 12-year cycle, right? So at 24, I started a new cycle, and I have till 36. I looked up last night, like, what a lot of what a lot of historical figures or popular public figures, what they were doing at 29. A lot of them were finding their path at 29. If I may, the last 5 minutes of this video, man feels so lost. I feel like a lot of men feel lost, and perhaps that's how you're supposed to do it. Is you have an issue, whatever it is, even if it's working out, making money, whatever, having peace of mind, family issues, you figure out what that stumbling block is for you, and then you help other people who are basically a younger version of you, and you help them out of that. You be the person that you needed when you were going through the worst time of your life, and help others. You gotta help others, bro. You gotta use your knowledge and teach it. That's really everything that it is, right? Anyway, so I don't know how I got here, but I'm looking. I'm like, first off, I think it's very interesting. It started out like this. I'm looking up like the history of Texas and the Alamo and all this stuff, Davy Crockett's life. I wanted to know if he was born in Texas. He's born in Tennessee. And I said, what happened at the Alamo February 25th, my birthday? And Santa Anna had an ultimatum at the Alamo. He said, surrender and lay down your arms in 1 hour. And he promised honorable treatment. But the defenders of the Alamo, really Commander Travis, he said, go to hell, but more formally, the Alamo will never surrender. And then the defenders fired a cannon to emphasize their refusal. This is February 25th, bro. During the Alamo, Santa Anna tried to have an ultimatum, and they said no. And February 25th marked the beginning of an intense bombardment until March 6th. I asked what historic events happened February 25th for all time. A bunch of stuff. Roman Empire. Paper currency introduced in the U.S. for the first time in 1862. And then I said, what men made history at the age of 29? Alexander the Great conquered Persia, because I'll be turning 29 in February 25th, which is basically in 30 days, 35 days. Albert Einstein introduced his special theory and the famous equation E equals mc squared at 29. William Shakespeare wrote and staged Romeo and Juliet in London at 29. Bill Gates founded Microsoft, developed basic software for PCs at 29. Steve Jobs co-founded Apple Computer, introduced Apple One at 29. Mark Zuckerberg faced lawsuits at 29, whatever. But he dropped out of college at 19. Elon Musk sold PayPal and founded SpaceX at 29. Charles Darwin returned from his 5-year voyage and began writing The Origin of Species at 29. Then I'm talking about pseudoscience says a man changes every 12 years. What's the age 29 look like on a man's cycle? Age 29 falls into the transition between the second 12-year cycle, which is 18 to 29. Characteristics: independence, self-discovery, experimentation, exploration of career, relationships, and identity. Your third 12-year cycle, which is 30 to 41, adult responsibility, consolidation. Characteristics: stability, commitment, responsibility, consolidation of career, family, and social status. Age 29 specifically, Saturn return, astrology, transition phase marked by self-reflection, reassessment, and potential crisis leading to renewed direction. Physical peak, the male physical strength, agility, and endurance often reach their highest point around age 29. Your emotional shift, increased emotional maturity, stability, and awareness. Men may become more empathetic and relationship focused. And then career consolidation. Many men solidify their careers, take on more responsibility, and establish themselves as experts in their field. I said, what have men had to say about 29 being a pivotal year? Quotes from men about turning 29. Elon Musk, 29 was a weird year for me. Still figuring out SpaceX and Tesla, but also having a crisis about my own mortality. Mark Zuckerberg, 29 was when I started to think more long term. Facebook was growing fast, but I realized I needed to focus on impact beyond just tech. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, turning 29 was my wake-up call. I shifted from partying to prioritizing my wrestling career and my future. Justin Timberlake, 29 was my quarter-life crisis year. I reevaluated NSYNC, my solo music, and what truly made me happy. Leonardo DiCaprio, around 29, I started producing films, expanding my creative horizon and social activism through my foundation. Jay-Z, 29 was my pivot year, transitioning from street hustler to successful entrepreneur and rapper. Ashton Kutcher, turning 29 meant reassessing priorities from partying to investing in tech startups and philanthropy. David Beckham, 29 was a big year, winning the UEFA Championship League with Manchester United, then shifting focus to family and entrepreneurship. These quotes illustrate common themes: reevaluation of priorities and goals, shifts in career focus or entrepreneurship, increased emphasis on relationship, family, or social impact, and reflection on mortality and legacy. The common theme among the quotes about turning 29: reevaluation of priorities, 70% of the quotes; career transition or advancement, 60% of the quotes; increased focus on relationship and legacy, 50% of the quotes; reflection on mortality and time, 30% of the quotes; entrepreneurial spirit and risk-taking, 40% of the quotes. The themes across age groups, comparing them from quotes about turning 25, which is emerging adulthood themes, independence, self-discovery, career exploration, and social life prioritization. 29 themes were, we've already discussed: reevaluation, career transition, relationships, mortality, entrepreneurship. Age 30 group, it's a new decade theme, reflection on the past decade. Renewed focus on long-term goals, increased responsibility, emotional maturity, and career consolidation. 40 age group, mid-life themes, reflection on life accomplishment, reevaluation of priorities. Again, I guess that's health, wellness focus, legacy and impact consideration, potential career shift, or entrepreneurship. The age 50 group is the golden decade theme, reflection on life journey, gratitude appreciation, wisdom sharing, legacy solidification, emotional peace and contentment, reevaluation of priorities, career focus, relationship and legacy, reflection, emotional maturity. Then I asked, what did Joshua of the Bible do at 29? Served as military aide to Moses during the wilderness wandering, fought in battles against Amalekites, began learning leadership skills, preparing for his future role. Although biblical scholars agree that Joshua's major leadership events occurred later in life, around age 40 to 60, they spied on the Canaanites. Age 80, he led the Israelites into the Promised Land, conquering Jericho. And age 110, he died. So while age 29 marked Joshua's early service and training under Moses, his most notable leadership events occurred decades later. And I don't even know why. I guess it's because I always wanted to be a cowboy. I said, what was Clint Eastwood doing at age 29? This was 1959. He had begun his acting career, appearing in small roles, small shows. He had a contract with Universal Studios. He had a regular role on Rawhide, which established his rising star groundwork. At 29, Eastwood was transitioning from minor TV and film appearances to a regular starring role on Rawhide, which was setting him up for future success as a Western icon. And then I said, Elliot Holst said that men lives 12-year cycles. Also, that man's hormone calendar is 24 hours, with testosterone being the highest in the morning. I don't know what I'm going. These 12-year cycles influence physical, emotional, and spiritual growth, with each cycle building upon the previous. The 24-hour hormone calendar, it reveals that hormones fluctuate significantly throughout the day with a natural 24-hour cycle. The key points in this cycle is testosterone peaks in the morning, typically between 6 and 8 a.m. The testosterone levels surge, influencing your energy, confidence, and libido. Your cortisol peaks in the afternoon, around 2 to 4 p.m. Cortisol, your stress hormone levels, increase, helping with your alertness and your focus. Melatonin peaks at night, starting around 9 to 10 p.m. Melatonin levels rise, promoting relaxation and sleep. Holst's ideas align with scientific research on your circadian rhythm and your hormone fluctuations. By understanding these natural cycles, men can optimize their energy and productivity, training and workout schedules, sleep patterns and recovery, emotional regulation, and stress management. Let's examine the characteristics and themes associated with the 12-year cycle. According to Holst's framework, the 12-year cycle of stages in a men's life cycle. Years 1 to 12, discovery, childhood. Years 13 to 24, exploration, teenage to early adulthood. Years 25 to 36, establishment, late 20s to early 30s. Years 37 to 48, consolidation, at mid 30s to early 40s. Years 49 to 60, reflection, late 40s, late 50s. And years 61 plus, fulfillment, 60 onward. I said, if I was born February 25th, 1996, what would my timeline look like with these 12-year cycles up to now? Cycle 1, 1996 to 2008. Cycle 2, 13 to 24 years old. That's 2008 to 2020. Cycle 2 was probably the most fundamental for me. 13 to 24. A lot of drama occurred when I was 12 years old that I think set the stage for my negativity, negative self-talk, and self-doubt. Events occurred that I think carried on for that whole 12-year cycle. 2020 is when I had really a discovery, because I remember it was 2019, and I would always say, like, I think that's when I started going crazy, because I'm sitting around with my family, my dad, and I came back to San Antonio, at least just to visit, because I was always driving back and forth between Houston. And I'm sitting with my dad, my sister, and her boyfriend at the time. They're married now with a kid, but they just had a baby last year, the end of last year. But they were dating at the time. And they're talking about how, oh, I don't support this this entertainment platform because they support this, because they're Christians, right? So we don't support that, so we're not going to watch that. But I'm thinking, I know y'all watch a different entertainment platform, and they also support it, and y'all still watch it. So really, y'all are bullshit. And even my dad said something, well, what about this? And they said, well, if we discovered that, then we wouldn't do that. And then he said, well, what about this? And then they paused, and he was like, oh, we won't go that far. And everybody just laughed. And I remember looking around like, what the fuck? And that's when I started to kind of lose it around 2019. Because I'm like, everyone's full of shit. Everyone's a liar. Even down, at that time, even down to what? My dad saying, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. You're bullshit. You're full of lies. You're a liar. And then I was thinking, even down to the smallest shit. If like humans are not watching their vocabulary, they say, I'm going to do this, and they don't fucking do it. I'm like, everyone is full of shit. Everyone's a liar. And that really drove me crazy. But instead of, and I felt that switch, instead of pressing on it and saying, well, I'm going to be my best to not be that. I was like, well, if everyone else is a fucking liar, then what the shit? Everyone's looking at me saying I'm a piece of shit because I can't keep a job or I have no direction, but everyone's a fucking liar. So who the fuck are they to tell me some shit? Like, motherfucker, you're full of shit. And that just drove me crazy. So instead of like being the best possible that I could, I was like, well, these fucks are fucking full of shit. Well, who gives a shit what they think? I'm going to do worse now. That's practically my thinking during that time. And then 2019 started really negative self-talk. You know, when I started seeing that girl when I was staying in Houston, and I made the most amount of money that I ever did, which was specifically to buy stock in the cruise line. But instead, I got distracted with the girl, stopped going to work, which is my typical pattern, is doing something productive at peak performance, going to school and going to work, or my last time with this girl, going to work and then going to work. Peak performance met with comfortability of a female, leading to me not having backbone, saying, hey, I can only chill with you one day out of the week. I'm too fucking busy. I cannot stay out late with you, so I wake up late for work and shit and don't get my rest. I didn't have balls to say that shit. So every time I get in a relationship, I start fucking up my shit. It's not the female's fault. But you know, when I first got to Conroe, I was going to school. I was fucking working at Whataburger. Started chilling with the females, started fucking up. Not the female's fault. Just didn't have the balls to say, I cannot chill with you. Only 1 day a week. Only on my days off. Only on my free day. Whatever the fuck. Or at the very least, if I am going to chill with a bitch, say, hey, it's 9 p.m. I have to go home and go to sleep now. I cannot stay out right now. That was the first time in Conroe. The next time was when I was with this female, and I didn't even want to be with her. This is shortly after I had this realization that everyone's full of shit, right? Everyone's bullshit. And just started hating myself, bro. Such negative talk. Calling myself such vulgar names. And oddly, I don't know if it's imagination or just all in my mind, me picturing my ancestors' evil or weakness getting into my lifestyle, thinking what I was going through, because it was a very, very dark time for me. You know, best opportunity in the world to make that stock investment. Living in a house with my mom, but I had the whole upstairs, and I had a vision of doing the studio work and just making music. And there's a guest room up there, and I was like, I'm going to invite my friend from San Antonio and say, let's produce some music, you know, stay the weekend. Had a vision during that time. That's when I first started like working out somewhat. Up to that point, I never did anything, any type of workouts, you know, walking stuff. Unless it was like, I always did long distance since middle school, just because literally just walking to where I need to be. So I was used to long distance walking. But particularly during that time, I started listening to David Goggins, going for runs, going for walks. I influenced a lot of people during that time, but never followed through. I had learned that I influenced a young man when I was younger to edit videos, and he carried on and did some nice production. During that time when I started running, I inspired my sister and told her I'm going to run in this marathon or whatever it was, right? Some K walk, run, whatever. And I was preparing for it. And yeah, I had a little bit of injury because I was pressing too hard, running too much too often, right? But still, I didn't come to town. And during that time, I was supposed to go with my friend. I think I even bought a ticket to go to a concert with my friend. I didn't come. Because what? I said, oh, if I come, I'm going to meet up with my ex, and I don't want to do that. Still came through later and still chilled with her. But didn't go with my friend to the concert. Told him to keep the ticket and take somebody else. I think he even went with my ex. I'm not sure. But I never viewed him like a fucking asshole. He's just very like mellow dude, nonchalant, you know. I don't know. Who fucking knows? I'm sure he had a crush on him. Anyway. I'm not sure if that's verified, but anyway, I didn't go to the concert. I didn't come to town to go for the fucking run with my sister, but she went. During that time when I was thinking about doing the studio shit, working at that warehouse as a welder's assistant, making the most money I ever had. I got some of the starting equipment, got discouraged because I'm like, oh, this doesn't sound how like I want it to. But then I just stopped. But one of my recordings, somebody that I used to work with at Whataburger, this girl, I played her one of my recordings, and her brother just so happened to be in the room, and he got influenced. and she bought him a microphone, and he made music that sounded pretty all right, and he was into it. And I was like, damn, I influenced this kid to make some music. I influenced my sister to go for that fucking run. And she got the medal and everything. She went through with it. And during that era, I met the young man that I influenced years ago when we were children to make videos, and he was doing freelance work and actually pursuing that. I inspired him through my editing to make videos. And it was during that era where I met up with him, and my sister told me, like, hey, this family friend, from years ago, they told me that you inspired them. And to the extent where that same era, I'm telling my dad, I'm about to invest in this stock in the cruise line. And he was like, he even told my sister who took us on that cruise for my dad's 75th birthday. And he said, hey, this might be a good idea. But I never followed through. I made the $2,000 that I was supposed to invest in that stock. And then in 2-3 years' time, or however long it would take for the stock to get back to normality, I would have made $100,000 profit. But would have it really been good for me? Because around that same time, at some point during being in Conroe, dating that girl in Houston, they had the stimulus check. But whatever it was, at some point I had like over $1,000 in my Cash App account. And what did I do? Spent it smoking, drinking, coming back down to San Antonio, seeing my ex, fucking blowing shit on motels and bullshit. Didn't buy equipment. Didn't fucking get a truck that I wasn't going to invest in the stock market, and because I was so enamored with this female, I lost focus. I'm not working every day. I'm missing work. It must have been a fundamental time for me. 2019, 2020. 2020 specifically, right? Turning 24. Starting a new cycle. So here we are, 5 years into the cycle? So we're almost halfway into the third cycle, right? You're in the third cycle. And you're almost halfway through. I'm about to turn 29 next month. So I got 7 years till this cycle is over. The past 7 years, back and forth, but the next 7 years, what are you going to do? I'm 28 years old today. Next month, I'll be turning 29. Next year, I'll be 30. Next year, around this time, I'll be turning 30 years old. Jesus died at 33. My cycle ends at 36, turning 40. You got 7 years. Peak performance is right now. And results talk. Bullshit walks. Cash talks. We live in a capitalist world, unfortunately. I have the energy for the past 2-3 years to do it. Elevated. I was looking at some old pictures. I set reminders for myself to do 10 push-ups. 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the morning. 20 a day, 20 a day so I could have 100 by the end of the week. Now my goal is 500 a day, 2,000 a week. And on particular days like yesterday I hit 1,000 push-ups in one day. Going from 5 years ago doing 10 in an afternoon to doing 1,000. 5 years progress. 10 push-ups, really 20. 20 push-ups to 500 on a regular basis, right? 20 push-ups a day to 500 a day. And that's all I care about. Don't know why, but at least it's something, because I never cared about anything my whole life before fitness, before that 2019 occurrence, when I started listening to David Goggins, so I started running. That's how it started. Moved to San Antonio around 2019, 2020. More like 2020. I gotta find that exact date. (2020). Pretty sure it was October 2020, man. That's why every October I feel something in the air, reflective, man. Because every year, October, that's when I made big transitions. That's when I did a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of shit changed. October 2020, when I came to San Antonio. And developing such a negative self-talk. Like, during that time I was seeing that female, bro, when I was working at the warehouse as a welder's assistant, saved the most money I've ever saved, $2,000, got distracted saying, I already had a car, economic car, Honda Civic. I love that car. Homeboys said it was a spaceship. I love that fucking car. Ungrateful. Stopped working, stopped making the payments, till my mom had to start making payments for me. When I made that $2,000, I had a stupid thought of, oh, I'm gonna fucking buy this truck that I keep seeing when I go see this girl. I'm gonna have 2 cars, and I'm gonna get a truck, and then I'm gonna start a business or something, or do something with it. Buy a truck, that wasn't the plan. I didn't even do that. I didn't even buy the truck. Didn't even do that. Came to San Antonio and spent all my shit, quit my job, and started lollygagging and fucking buying motels and fucking getting alcohol, weed, spending all my shit. Because I thought I was big time because I had $2,000 in my pocket. Didn't even invest in the stock market like I was supposed to and just sit on it. But I started seeing this girl, stopped going to that job so much. And when I would, on my way to go see her, I would cry. And I'd be like, Lord God, help me. Why am I doing this? I don't even want to see this female. I don't want to do this. I literally cried on the way to see this girl. And I would visit that girl every single day. 40-minute drive every single day. And the whole time I'm like, I hate myself. Call myself all these names. And then I'm crying. I remember a particular time where I cried. And I was like, Lord God, why? I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Go see this girl that I'm not even really truly attracted to like that. We hang out, do whatever the fuck, watch TV, bullshit, smoke on the porch. And then at the end of the day, she'd be like, "You want to hang out tomorrow?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I'm driving away like, "What the fuck? I never need to come back here." Come back again tomorrow. While on the way talking trash. So developing from that time in 2019 really until 2023, even now, 2025, it started lessening about 2 years ago, but not really actually. It's still there today, but it's just not so bad, but still bad. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You know, what you think you become. We know that. But I'm talking about years straight of just such negative talking, speaking, calling myself all these fucking names, bro. To the point, like, I remember when I first came back to San Antonio, like, so bad negatively, bro. Any moment I was alone, I'm talking trash to myself. I go to my friends or people I know, and they even made comments saying, "Oh, I'm going through hell. Like, I'm in such a bad place mentally, and I'm so distraught. But when I hang out with you, I just feel a sense of peace." And I remember thinking, like, that's fucking crazy, bro, because I'm going through hell when I'm alone. I'm in such a dark place. But and I'm pretty sure a few people say something of similarity to where when I'm around, they feel at ease. They feel peace. And I'm like, that is so crazy. But I felt it too because I wanted that to a degree. I wanted to relieve people of their stress. Maybe it's supernatural. Maybe it's God. That I'm bringing these people peace. But I'm going through hell. Darkness, at least when I'm not alone, because I would hang out with people, hang out with my friends. We're happy, we're laughing. I remember a particular instance where we were talking and laughing the whole time, having a good old time. And the moment, it was a good day, zero negative thoughts. The moment they left and walked out the door, shut that door, immediately, you piece of shit, and start talking to myself bad. It was the craziest scene. I remember that particularly. But that's how it was for a while. Chill with my people, everything's cool. The minute they leave, the very minute they leave and I'm alone, I'm saying, you piece of shit. Calling myself bad names. And that went on for years. Still going on to this day, just not too bad. I'm saying 2019, 2020, 2021, very negative, very, very dark. Especially 2019, 2020, just dark, bro. Dark, 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 dark. I think I even told my dad, like, I'm in a dark place. Like, I'm in a dark place. I'm in a bad place, man. Starting the self-sabotaging, the routine, the pattern of starting a job, quitting a job, starting a job. Well, that really started in my first job. I've had many jobs, and I've quit every job. I haven't put in 2 weeks notice for anything. I just no call, no show. But during that time particularly, it was different because Conroe's about 45 minutes away from Houston, but there was some good work, I think, if you drive a little bit into the country. I had an economic car, plus I enjoyed driving, so it wasn't so bad, and the jobs paid quite good. And I got a number of very good jobs, very good opportunities, bro, and just flushed them all down the toilet. My dad told me during that time, he's like, you're not just throwing away blessings, you're taking it, crumbling it up, throwing it on the ground, stomping on it, disrespecting it. You're not even throwing it in the trash. You fucking throw it on the ground and stomp on that shit, piss on that shit. My good friend from Houston, the old head, he even said, he's like, bro, you're only going to get a number of opportunities. He's like, the number of opportunities that you're getting and you're wasting it, you're not going to get this forever. He's like, you're not just going to get another blessing and another blessing and another blessing. And my dad was saying something similar. Not that the blessings would run out, but my dad said during that time, he's like, I have never seen somebody so blessed. I've never seen somebody have the hand of God on them so much to where they can disrespect it, throw opportunities away, disrespect the opportunities, and yet get another blessing, another opportunity. I was astonished myself to where I would fuck shit up or fuck a car up. I get another car. I get another very good job. To where I'm even thinking like, what the fuck? I'm even thinking like, God, why are you blessing me? Why are you blessing me? I just screwed up bad. And I just got another very good job just like that. And then I screw that up. And then I got another very good job just like that. Then I crashed my car due to, I'm a good driver per se. I've never gotten in an accident unless it was me just being determined to be an asshole. Like when I crashed my Honda Civic, the spaceship, very nice car. Because I was drunk and fighting with a girl that, what? She was pretty, I was attracted to her. But again, it's like my homeboy said, like, you're creating relationships with these females that you're supposed to just be hooking up with. And I'm sure that that's what they're looking for too in the beginning. Just to hook up, keep moving on, build your life. But you get infatuated, start dating these women, tell them you want to marry them and shit. So what? I'm getting in an argument with a woman that I fucking have no business with anyway. And fucking get drunk, crash the car, because you're driving reckless on purpose. You know, even though I was drunk as shit, like, I could have made it. I'm driving like a jackass. And thank goodness, the way I was driving, I didn't crash into another human being. Every time I did fuck up my car, that's the second time fucking up my car, it was due to self-indulgence, driving like a fucking jackass on purpose. Like I drove into shit on purpose. I'm not a bad driver per se. Not to pat myself on the back and shit. I'm just saying. The cars that I have lost, there was absolutely no need for it. And it's like, even from the crashing not being necessary to losing a vehicle because I wouldn't repair it, it's like, I have the skill and know-how, and with my first car, had the determination. I could have fixed every car, no doubt. I could have fixed every car myself. And even if I didn't, we took it to a shop. I was able to figure out what the hell's wrong with it to get it directly fixed. I've been without a car now for 2 solid years. For why? 3 solid years, really, because I had a car for a short time, got in contact with the old head, and he convinced me to sell that motherfucker. I don't know why I did that shit. That's the last car my mom bought for me, which the guy was selling it for like a little over like $1,000. She came to town from Austin. We paid the guy. I had a car, paid cash. Got in contact with this old head. And that's why I kind of stopped trying to chill with him, even though he's taught me a lot, giving me life lessons that I still use to this day. But it's like, I got that car And then he convinced, and then like every time I start doing good in life, because I just got a job. Yeah, it was at Bill Miller's Barbecue, which was my first job, but it was 10 years prior to that because it was 2023. My first job was with Bill Miller's at 2013. So my friend was working there, my good friend Roger, who we work out together, whatever. So I was like, hey, you know what? If he's able to get me the job, I know it's fast food again and I'm worth more than that. But hey, fucking do it. I think there's a coincidence that 10 years later, I need a job, any job, same place, but I'm like, fuck it. It's been 10 years, do it. Start fucking that shit up because I was walking to that job when I didn't need to be. I didn't need to sell my car. But that was only for X amount of months. And I remember being so excited, bro, because like throughout the years, I've stayed out of contact. I don't really hit up my friends, don't really hit up my dad or my family. But every time I start getting shit right, I start talking to these people again. And then I'm like so excited, like, look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. And then just to crash it all. Like that's how I was with Hallmark College. Like I told everybody, like, I'm going to the school, I got in, I'm doing it. And everything was paid for. I wouldn't have had to pay for shit until after I graduated. And then I would have had to make like $500 payments a month and shit. Like ridiculous, right? And I was so excited, like, I'm doing it, just to crash and burn and self-sabotage. So it's been 3 years without a car, practically. You know, had that car for short term, but what? And then shortly after that, my girl, she had a car paid cash, old Nissan, and she went to a car lot and bought a car and practically gave that car to me. But I was with this mentality of what the fuck? I don't want this female to give me a handout and fucking give me a car. Then that car started fucking up. I could have fixed it. Knowing what I know, G, I know without a doubt I could have fixed that fucking car. Even if I did have to fucking change the whole exhaust system. My homeboy said, bring it on by, we'll do the project. Just let it sit in a fucking parking lot. Didn't get a job, didn't use it to get a job, and fucking sold it for $500. So, and the girl used it to get a fucking certificate for phlebotomy. And she hasn't used it. I mean, it's good to have it in your pocket, but she's still working at the same place she was, you know, plasma center, still making good money, and she's a leader now, so she's making, you know, the money, but there's no reason I shouldn't have a car right now. 3 years without a car of my own, my own. There's no reason. There's no reason. Even if it was that whole exhaust system, so what? For that particular year of the Nissan, I looked it up. $300 for the whole exhaust system. Okay, it's a major deal. My boy said, bring it to the garage. We'll work on it. And him being the Marine that he is, I knew we could have done a major project. Like it was nothing. He had confidence saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I know I could have fucking fixed. Even if I had to change the whole damn exhaust system, I even asked my mother for the money and she sent it and I didn't fucking use it on that. What type of shit is that, bro? I even got the money for the parts because that's always been my issue per se. I'm able to diagnose a vehicle, but then the next step is, do I have the tools for it? Do I have the money for the parts? And that was still provided. My mama said, hey, cut you off some money, cut you off a check, go get the parts. Didn't fucking do it. What? And that started a bad habit of asking my mom for money, and lying to her saying, oh, my car broke down. I didn't even have a fucking car, bro. And I didn't even think about it again until today about what that old head told me in Houston. That you have all these blessings, bro, again and again and again and again, and that's not going to last forever. There's going to be a time when those blessings are going to cut out. And I remember, like, it's January now. January 19th, bro. It's, the month is practically over in a week. It's fucking over. I don't have a job. How the hell am I gonna fucking pitch in for fucking rent? It's like, why won't you go to work, G? The girl had a breakdown last year or in the apartments 2 years ago. At some point, like, she just had a breakdown saying, why can't you just go to work? She's like, I go to work every fucking day. She's like, you can't just go to work? Now, it's a mixture. Well, first off, excuses, boy. Because what? I'm not happy with my life. You don't want to be in this relationship. You're living a fucking lie. So even if I did make the money, I don't want to fucking be here. That's the root of it. But so what? So what? You don't want to be here. You're depressed. So because last year when I had a job that I really enjoyed, all my money went to the female. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm just working just to do this shit, and I'm still in the same position, and I still don't like my life. But it's like, so fucking what? You know? Stop smoking, get a good job that pays double, get a part-time and a full-time, get your money up. So what? You can pay all the bills that she asks for, on top of creating a savings so you can have a backup plan or some damn thing, emergency funds, something. No reason why not to have a car. The last 3 cars I've had, could have fixed them. Could have used them to at least go up the street to go find a fucking job. You could be putting in 40-hour weeks, let alone the fact that you need to be putting 60-hour weeks, let alone the fact that you're so far behind you need to be putting in 80-hour weeks. And you're fucking driving DoorDash, making $10, $20 a fucking day. Because that shit to me seems like it's thinning out for me personally. Like it's not hopping like it used to. Used to be, I can make clear $30 minimum. $30, $60, $70. And if I really hustled it, $100. And during that time, I knew if I had pressed on the gas, I could have made $200 a day if I was really about it. Now, to the degree where it seems as though that shit ain't really working out for me, I made $10 in the expensive ass part of town during lunchtime, and I only made $10 fucking dollars, and then it wasn't hot anymore. You're a $10 fucking man? You're a $10 a day man. When you know at very minimum you should be making 100, and really you know that's even low because you should be making at least 130. And in reality, the type of man that you are, you should be making 200 a day, but you still cut yourself short. You know, at the end of the day, it's just responsibility, man. I've never felt the sting of having to be out on my own. You know, everything paid for, everything taken care of. I'm fucking drinking coffee. I didn't pay for this shit. I'm gonna eat breakfast. I didn't pay for that shit. Living in a house I didn't pay rent for. What the fuck, man? You need to get out of your comfort zone, G. Straight up. You gotta do something different, family. You gotta hold something on your own. And like I was saying yesterday to myself, it's like, bruh, you gotta have some kind of leverage up in this mug, boy. Because that's what the issue is. The problem is that you don't speak your mind. Right? You're not telling a girl how you feel. You won't speak up for yourself. Because, yeah, she gets upset or whatever, but it's like, bro, all it is standing on your fucking ground, bro. You say it how it is and let it fucking be. And if she doesn't like that, well, then fucking leave. But you won't do that. You won't do that because you don't have the money, resources, you don't have a car. Okay? You don't have a fucking car. So you've developed a habit and a pattern to where the girl just talks to you however you want. And you already know that a female who is used to you not standing on business, the respect is lost. And it's very hard to acquire that. The only way you would acquire that respect back is if you are really stand on business and again have your leverage on yourself to where you say, okay, if you talk to me this way again, I'm out. If you do this behavior again or this happens again, I'm leaving. But then when it happens again, you can't bullshit. That goes back again to keeping your word for yourself, to other humans. If you say you're going to be there, do it. To your female, and you say, hey, like, cut that. I can't live with that. And she does it again. I'm sorry, I gotta leave, and actually follow through and walk the fuck out the door. So what? You gotta live in your car. You gotta move back in with your parents. Because she already thinks you're a bullshitter because you said, hey, stop that activity. And you may love her. You may love her with all your heart. But if you tell her, I'm leaving if you do that again, or say it this way, or speak to me this way, and it happens, it sucks. You may not want to, but you gotta follow through. Just shit like that. You know, not in a harsh way particularly, but just saying that your word can't even be counted on. I've been talking for a while. I just did not expect this to go on for 2 hours. Maybe it's because I haven't talked to y'all this whole week, but all that to say, something's got to change, man. This is not my house. This is all girl stuff, how she would want it,
her paintings, and that's fine, bro. You know, it's nothing against anybody else, bro. It's just how do you want it? The only way to garner that respect back from your female is to be undeniable, non-negotiable, 100%. I'm all about fitness, but it's like no results. Do you have a six pack? Do you have fucking ginormous arms? I do calisthenics, so it's like you're not gonna get big that way. You know, you have to actually, if you want to do that, fine, but you gotta start hitting the gym, baby boy. You gotta start eating more because you don't eat shit. You know what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't really about it. You ain't really about the fitness. You half-ass that shit. You know, I may do 1,000 motherfucking squats today, but hell, it's about to be 12 motherfucking p.m. You should have woke up at 4:30 and got that shit done. You know what I'm saying? You can't just work out and not have money, not pay your bills at the very least. I'm looking at the median, the average household income is like between $50,000 and $80,000 in San Antonio a year, and it's like, according to Kevin Samuels, or just using it as a guideline, saying a 30-year-old man should be making close to 80 grand a year alone, not household. And at the very least, if you have low expectations, the average, you should be making 50 grand. And 50 grand is the household income, not just one person. Because the average human will only work 40 hours. So what? As a young person, you have 168 hours available to put in some work. You don't really need all that time for what is your excuse? Family time, hobbies, working out. With what I would call an ideal schedule, would be 2 hours of cardio, 2 hours of working out, combined with an 8 hour shift, combined with a 4 hour shift, combined with like some amount of time of doing online school, and boom, that's your work day. And that's a recipe for success. And you front load, like David Goggins says. You're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, you front load. You do all this work, all this work. You work 12-hour days, 18-hour days for 2 years, 3 years, and set yourself up and use it wisely. Live below your means, make investments, have a savings, front load for 2 years. Oh, I don't have a life. The clubs will be there, the parties will be there, the women will be there. Where were you 5 years ago? Who were you dating 5 years ago? Who were you saying going to movies and shit? And what? Your female wants to go see movies right now, and you ain't got shit still? Better yet, worse off now? No car, no job, no shit. Not worse off now, man. Because oddly enough, like last 5 years, I've been consuming, digesting. A lot of people say, I don't know how that motivational or informative talks you listen to. All I've listened to is guys talking to a camera just like this for the last 5 years, or ever since I came back to San Antonio. Was it all for nothing? You know, my girl said something the other day, and she was like, I don't know how that stuff is really turning out for you because you got no results. And that's true to a fashion. But in reality, where's the junk that you're listening to? Because I'm listening to something that's productive, speaking life into me, saying you can do it, and here's how you be a good man. I haven't acted upon it, but the information is there. And I've been thinking recently, is it better than what you consume or the whole world? When I look out and see what everybody else is doing, they're listening to garbage music. I can't even stand what's on the radio. They watch movies and shit that's all the same shit. Shoot 'em up, bang bang, have sex, do drugs, whatever. Bullshit. You're watching movies that show you 80,000 deaths per year. How the fuck is that good for you? What the fuck are you getting from the entertainment you watch? Scrolling on the fucking internet for fucking hours, looking at social media, and this girl will tell me stories off of social media, and I'm like, that's cool, or that's astonishing, or that's disturbing, but it's like, sounds like bullshit. Especially in now, today's day and age, I feel like probably 60 to 80% of the shit is fucking made up. And people will tell me like, whoa, listen to this story. It's like, bro, that sounds fake to me. It just sounds like a story that someone made up for views. And they just put someone's fucking picture up and you believe that whole fucking story. It's cute and maybe it is true, but I just believe that most of the fucking shit that we see out there is just bullshit. Along with videos of what? People pulling pranks or doing some shit for a reaction. I can look at videos and say, that looks like a setup. That looks fake as fuck. Like, that doesn't look like a real interaction. And like 60 to 70, 80% of the motherfuckers viewing that shit are like, oh my God. They take it as literal. They take it as reality. And I'm like, bro, you can't see that this looks like a setup? Like, this looks fake as shit, bro. Like, this is a reaction video or maybe some of them are real, but I feel like you can just tell most of this shit is bullshit. So the humans are over here participating in bullshit yet again. Social media portraying all this shit, and the motherfuckers look at that shit like it's real. And I look at it like, bro, like I can tell this is fake as fuck. Like, this is staged, this is scripted, like this is not fucking real. What the fuck? So yeah, I'd rather have my own fucking life because these fucks go to work, live their shit, but you eat like shit. You think like shit. You watch bullshit. And it's been said that you're the most lazy because you'll work 60 years and get your pension and retire and just fucking work every day for somebody else and make somebody else's dream come true. And it's like, there you go, bro. Like, I can't say shit. I'm a homeless man. No car, no job. So it's like, who the fuck is going to listen to you, bro? Oh, you're so smart. You got it all figured out. Bruv, you can't be over here saying the whole thing's rigged, everything's fucked. You got no way out. You're not actually working towards doing anything. Who the fuck's going to listen to me? You know what I'm saying? Even the last couple of weeks, last couple of days, I've been trying to tell myself, keep your mouth shut. Unless a motherfucker's asking your opinion, like, hey, what do you think about this? Then fucking tell them, because they'll probably even give a fuck. But every time I talk about shit, motherfuckers have zero reaction. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. Even if I am right. Nobody gives a fuck. Who the fuck's gonna listen to you? You have no money. The motherfuckers that I even see around here, they're running shit, but they're idiots. But they have the fucking money. And they will listen to them because they have the money. Even the assholes that cheat on their wife, do some fucked up shit, steal and lie, who are immoral, are prone to anger and yell at everybody. But guess what? They pay the bills. They have the money. So they might even say, ooh, that motherfucker's an asshole. But they have no choice but to respect and still include him in their life because that motherfucker makes it motherfucker happen, right? You don't have to be a kind person. You don't have to be a smart person to make that motherfucking money. But are you living fucking paycheck to paycheck? There's a analyst. There's a fucking statistic that motherfuckers are making $100,000 and still living paycheck to paycheck. You lose your fucking job, what? Due to natural disaster, due to the electric grid going out, due to fucking the C word happening again, and there's a lockdown. What? You lose your fucking job. You're one paycheck behind. You can't pay your fucking car note and you lose that motherfucker. You can't pay your rent and you lose that motherfucker. You're 1 month away from being fucked. You're 30 days away from being fucked. And that makes you better than fucking me because you're running in this rat race, which is literally just a hamster wheel, and you gotta keep running on that motherfucker. I get it. Because what? I'd be homeless, bro, if I didn't have handouts, if I didn't have my mom or dad taking care of me or a girl letting me stay with her. So it's like, you don't know shit, bro. You don't know about responsibility, motherfucker. And it's easy when you don't have a car note, when you don't have a lease, when you don't care about your fucking credit because you've broken 2 or 3 leases. Like, yeah, these other motherfuckers are able to make shit run. You ain't making shit run, boy. So it's like, who gives a fuck in this world? Even though, yeah, it's all a curtain, it's all a mirage, it's all bullshit, because at the end of the day, what? We're just all we're humans on our own 2 feet. And what's going to happen if something goes wrong and your fucking life crumbles? Will you be mentally prepared? Or will you fucking be a bitch and be like, ah, and have anxiety? Like when that nurse that I was seeing 5 years ago, like whenever those motherfuckers took our equipment, the U.S. military's equipment, and wherever the fuck it was across the seas, right? They rode on top of our tanks. Humans over here going in, they're making big money, big bucks, but they're having anxiety, can't even fucking handle that shit. Breaking down, scared as shit. What? During COVID lockdowns, motherfuckers going insane. Saying, oh, I can't do it. Shut the fuck up, hit the floor and do some push-ups. Pussy. No mental resilience. How about that? Motherfuckers get a little cold front coming in, or they hear some shit. I remember when motherfuckers in San Antonio a few years ago, they motherfucking heard some shit and they went, and there's a long line to get goddamn gasoline. Motherfuckers freaking out, buying all the gasoline. If you had just moved like regular, we would have had enough to share to go around. But motherfuckers are lining up due to mental fucking shit on social media, and they buy up all the gas. They're lined down the fucking neighborhood to go get this goddamn gasoline, where motherfuckers are being assholes and cutting people and all this bullshit. Due to mental, we weren't even going to run out, but we ran out because motherfuckers rushed to the gas station and bought it all up. Bullshit happening and motherfuckers go to the store buying all the toilet paper. Those were events that I remember. Motherfuckers buying all this shit due to what? Our own self fucking bullshit. It wasn't even a real fucking disaster. There was a winter storm coming last week, and motherfuckers are in the store buying up shit, acting crazy. You don't gotta worry about the fucking... You need to worry about your fucking self. The motherfuckers around you, bro. Your own neighbors, own motherfuckers at the store will cut you down and go crazy. The fuck? No mental resilience, no emotional control. So the first 20 minutes of your day are the most crucial. And you wake up and look at social media and these fucks are telling you, oh, this person died. This is happening. Oh my God. So they're making you feel a certain type of way already, first thing off the bat. Emotionally, the first 20 minutes is the most detrimental, the most crucial for the rest of your day. It sets up the trajectory for the rest of your day. And you wake up and let these fucks control your emotions. And your emotion is the main drive for your life. Is it fear, anger? Is it determination, that burning desire? Is it the sex, like the opposite sex, like Abe Lincoln or anybody that had a woman, like give them that inertia to fucking get shit done? What the fuck is it? Because it's got to be emotionally driven. We know that in the book Think and Grow Rich. But motherfuckers are letting a damn computer box, which is really just 1,000 computers that don't give a fuck about you. They just know, okay, this is what humans like click on the most, so let's show more of that. And you allow your own emotions to be fucking driven by a damn computer box. So you wake up saying, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, oh my God. You don't even have control over your own emotions because the fucking social media or the news or whoever the fuck will tell you this is what's happening, this is how you should feel, and motherfuckers go crazy. So if anything, it's over control of your own mind, your own emotions. Can somebody say something to you and you get upset? Motherfuckers drive out here with attitudes, road rage, and all this shit. Like, why the fuck is everyone so mad when they're driving? It's like they're trying to prove a motherfucking point. Like, oh, I have the right of way. Who gives a fuck? Motherfuckers are so pent up listening to all this shit, and then they just unleash it on motherfuckers. All these women that I've seen in the past 5 years get mad and angry when they're driving saying, fuck you, motherfucker. But I guarantee if you saw a human outside of your car in the park, you're not going to be like, fuck you. You might say it behind them backs because that's what those women do. They'd be like, oh, that fucking bitch. But they're not going to fucking talk that shit right in front of them. Motherfuckers talk that shit online. Motherfuckers talk that shit in their car. Motherfuckers drive crazy and be assholes. But I don't see that shit outside. And maybe it's just from where I'm from, because I'm sure there are places where motherfuckers are wilding out a little bit. And they do that shit. I know there is, but I'm just saying. I think people are living in la la land. But am I living in fucking la la land? I don't take care of motherfucking responsibility. But I'm building a mental resilience of some degree, and I'm just realizing this now because motherfuckers go crazy, G. Motherfuckers going crazy and allowing the internet to control their emotions. You know, and I think that's what I was starting to realize in 2019 and leading up to this time now. So it's like, I don't have the money, but it's like, bro, this girl that she was a nurse making damn good money, but no control over that emotion, right? The simplest thing giving you anxiety. If a natural disaster or something were to happen, an occurrence, like humans would go crazy. Back when I stayed in Conroe, when I first got there in 2017, 2018, I witnessed a mother losing her shit because her daughter's phone line wasn't active. You know, I feel like it's iRobot. The dependence on the grid and everything is cool and it's good. Have a Tesla, you know, work the system, have a job, all that, but you need the backup. Get the electric car, whatever. Depend on your cell phone. If the electricity goes out, what would motherfuckers do, bro? I find myself lost in the trance where I don't have my phone. What the fuck am I gonna do now? Right? If I'm not watching TV, what the fuck am I gonna do now? But we've been trained generationally to this point where if one thing goes wrong, your emotional base is fucked. That's why the shit is good, but don't be dependent. Have a backup. Have that electric car, but just like Will Smith and iRobot, you keep that gasoline powered motorcycle in storage. You keep that backup. And for yourself, it's just resiliency. It's just building up. Look at Jasper. She's dreaming. She's running. I ain't never seen that cat do that. She stopped now, Jasper. Probably because she heard me. Are you preparing mentally to where there was a devastation and you had to go 7 days without eating, or you had to walk 20 miles, or you know what I'm saying? You had to go head out to the mountains and survive and shit. Motherfuckers are not ready for that type of mentality because at least Americans, bro. There's shit going on all over the motherfucking world. I think everyone else is exposed to real life shit. And we ain't exposed to real life nothing. And on social media, they say, oh, you got to get rich and have all this shit and relaxation and comfortability and luxury. Fuck luxury. Ain't shit supposed to be luxurious, right? Marcus Aurelius, fucking. It is so easy to lose your way. King Solomon in the Bible, the richest man, wrote part of Proverbs, had the most money, had 700 wives, but that's where he messed up. Because God said specifically, you cannot have multiple wives. He started chilling with all these women, started praying to the women's gods. Absolute, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's very hard to have all that power and stay stationed, stay rooted. And that self-infliction is the only way to help. That's why the physicality is the best for a young man until he gets older, right? 55 plus. Before 55, you kind of lean on that physicality. Because you need that self-inflicted pain. You need that self-inflicted adversity. Because if you have no resistance and you get everything you want, you're just going to become weak. And that's where America is, because everybody just gets whatever the fuck they want. It's convenient with the Amazon and everything. You get everything at your fucking doorstep. You don't even have to leave. If you really wanted to, you couldn't. And really, that's good if you're on a different mentality and you're working 17 hours a day. Okay, I need someone to cook for me, clean for me, have everything shipped to my house, conveniency, because you need to be filling that time with your work. 17 hours. That's really how it should be, working all day, all night for a limited amount of time to make a next move. But everything's so convenient. You have drive-throughs, fast food, and if you don't get your food within a certain amount of time, you fucking go crazy anyway. In just the simplest convenience of, I want a Snickers bar or I want some ice cream, let me drive in my car like 6 miles instead of having to do some walking, and I get that damn candy bar. I want it. I want a Snickers. I can go out and get it right now. That's conveniency to a degree that we don't even think about it. Where you can get a pleasure of a candy bar without having to walk into town, taking the time to actually get to that motherfucker. You can get literally anything you want right now. To a certain degree, right? At the tip of your fingers, bro. Ordered to your doorstep. Whatever. And it's great, but I'm just saying the possibility of weakening your own fortitude is higher because you're more likely to give in to this luxury or this comfortability. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily comfortable. I'm just putting my energy in the wrong place. Because I'm a jackass that only cares about doing fucking push ups and shit. I'll spend 2 hours doing cardio. I'll spend 4 hours doing push ups. Nobody gives a fuck. And it doesn't give you capital results because, frankly, we live in a capitalist society. So you need the money. You just need it. And that's rule number one. Get you a lot of money because people listen to someone with a lot of money. And that's just the way it is. You know? Then part two is the strength. You focus on the working out. You know? Because I can't speak my mind to my girl because what? Scared that she'll get upset. Okay, I should be in a position where you don't like what the fuck I have to say. I'm what kills a man is that silent masculine scream. You're not speaking up for yourself. You're not speaking your mind. And that's all it is for me. Like, speak up. Have a voice. You don't like what, all this happy wife, happy life bullshit. Like, I get it. I get it, bro. But it's like women shit test you, dog. That's practically all they fucking do. Even your own mother will shit test you. Alright? You have to stand your ground. You can't just be agreeable. And it's not to be an asshole. There is a line. There are assholes. There are people who are disrespectful to women. You don't have to be disrespectful. You just have to say, look, this is how it is. This is what I'm doing. I don't agree with that. Or I'm not doing that, Dale. And if that's what you want, then I'm out. I'm leaving. And have the leverage to make that money move. And that's for everything, bro. Whether it's your government, whether it's whatever, put yourself in a position where you can speak your mind. You can do what you want. And then if they say, oh, no, you be like, fuck you. You need the fuck you money. And that's where I've gotten it wrong. And whatever it is, because in here, San Antonio, Texas, it's so low. You don't need to be a millionaire. You just need to make between $50,000 and $80,000 a fucking year to be able to say, fuck you, I do what I want. And that's it. Not to be an asshole. Just to say, to stand on your own fucking ground. And that's it, man. It's 12:15. I'm about to hit these squats. I'm about to do something, man. We gonna make it.